Let's talk about how to assess a technical walkthrough video. This might be the most important part of a developer's profile, so it's important to give it a good hard look as you choose whether or not to meet with them. This short little video is designed to tell you a whole lot. And don't worry, if you're not well versed in Bubble, I'll explain everything. Here are the 4 things to look for as you watch. First, how do they communicate? Can they articulate their thoughts well and explain technical concepts in a way you can understand, or at least get the gist of? Can you hear and understand them? Consider what it might be like to have a call with this developer to hash out some complicated part of your app. One of the top complaints from founders who've hired the, quote, wrong developer is communication. So don't discount your gut feelings about this. Second, did the developer present a well-thought-out, organized walkthrough, or does it seem like they just turned on their camera and slapped something together in 5 minutes? Now, it's not about the quality of the video itself. These are developers, not content creators. But the thought they put into this video could be an indicator of how they'll approach your project and communicate their choices and progress throughout. Third, did they fulfill the requirements we gave them? This is a screenshot from the developer dashboard. It lays out the specific things they're meant to include in their walkthrough. Zooming in, they're supposed to walk through a single feature from a single app. They're not supposed to show you every feature of an app or even a collection of features, just one single feature. This is because a whole app can't be explained in 3 to 5 minutes. But for a single feature, you can talk through a lot of stuff that will give you, the client, an idea of how they build. Here's what they were asked to include in their video. They should preview the feature as if they're a real user and talk you through what the feature does. This is mainly just to give you context. It should be very short. They should show you the important data types and workflows used in the feature and at least mention their use of reusable elements. If they have API calls, they should mention them. And they should definitely make it clear that they have protected user data by setting up privacy rules. Now, it's up to you how much weight you put on whether they followed these requirements, but it can be a way to get a sense of their ability to listen to what's being asked of them and deliver appropriately. And yes, they know we're telling you to consider this. The final thing to watch for is a set of specific indicators of their technical competency. Now, if you don't know Bubble well, don't worry. We'll show you some key things to look for to gauge whether a developer has the foundational platform knowledge they need to have and whether they use best practices as they build. Remember this? It isn't arbitrary. Each item on here was specifically requested so that you can tell if they build in a competent, responsible way. We're going to go through each of these items, but it's important to say that we don't expect you to scrutinize these videos for every single point I'm about to make. Not every walkthrough will cover every specific tiny thing. What I'm about to give you is some things to look out for that, when taken as a whole, can give you a clue as to how thoughtfully and professionally a developer builds. All right, the first item on the list is data structure. Now, if you're a strong bubbler yourself, you'll probably be able to look at the data types they've shown you and tell if their structure makes some sense. If you're not a strong bubbler, don't worry about that. There are other things you can tell from looking at their data types. For example, do they have a naming convention they use? Does it look like they use it consistently? It might not look like mine, but a sensible, consistent naming convention means that they build for the future, so that other developers can work in the app easily after they leave. Also, do they make use of comments to document the nuances of their data types and fields? Not everyone uses this, but it can be another clue that they care about who comes after them. Next up is workflows. The developer will likely talk you through 1 or 2 of the workflows that are involved in the feature they're showing. It's not actually important that you understand what the workflows do. What you're looking for is naming. Pause the screen and skim their workflows. Do you see a bunch that are named Button F or Group ZZZ? This is a sign that they're not naming their important page elements. This is a very bad practice. Anyone who takes over an app built by this developer is going to struggle to figure out what's going on. Organization. Do they make use of colors and folders to group their workflows? Note that Bubble just made a huge change to this part of the platform, which forced many developers to spend hours and hours reorganizing all of their workflows. So if the developer is showing you something they've built a while ago, it might not look that organized. But if you do see folders and colors being used, that's a great sign. Custom workflows. There are a million very good reasons to use custom workflows. They are a foundational feature of Bubble. If a developer doesn't make heavy use of these, there is a problem. Now, the developer might not mention them in their walkthrough video, but you can glance at the list, and if you see this icon, it means they're using them. Backend workflows. This is another foundational feature that every legit bubbler absolutely must use. You don't need to know why, just trust me on this. Backend workflows are critical. Not necessarily every feature will require them, so again, no docking points if they don't say the phrase backend workflows, but keep your ears tuned in case they do, and keep an eye on this little icon. If it's blue, you're looking at the backend. Next up, reusable elements. All you're looking for here is, are they using them? Here's how to tell. Reusable elements are purple in Bubble. See this? Purple. You might see them on the page, or here in the current location indicator, or if you're lucky, they might click on this little dropdown. Ideally, you'll see lots of purple. API calls. The feature being shown in a video might not have any API calls, and that's perfectly fine. No points docked if this doesn't come up. But if the developer goes here and you see lots of API calls, it might mean that they have a high level of skill with integrations. Could also be that someone else built most of them. No way to tell, really. One thing I would make note of here is, do they reveal any API keys? These are typically here in this field and start with the word bearer, plus a whole bunch of letters and numbers. If they're just willy-nilly showing you all the keys in a client's app, this is bad news bears. If they say, I'm not going to show you these to protect the client's keys, that's a developer who cares about security. Final thing, privacy rules. Privacy rules are how a developer secures user data in a Bubble app. They are absolutely critical. When the developer shows you the data types they're using for the feature, you should see a whole bunch of this phrase right here, privacy rules applied. This means they have taken care to protect that data type. Not all data types will have them, but most will. If you see a whole bunch of publicly visible right here, run away. All right, that covers the key points to look for in a developer's technical walkthrough video. Now you're all set to assess some skill and book some calls. Happy watching!